4 quarters of Notre Dame football.
He's met by Alohi Gilman with a nasty hit. Chase Claypool reaches across the goal line. Touchdown Irish. Still moving. Chris Fink inside the 20-yard line. Down he goes.
No matter what happens, we stay together.
And intercepted by Jalen Elliott.
Look, a great fake. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
The Fighting Irish opened their 2019 campaign with a 35-17 road victory over Louisville. We welcome you to Inside Notre Dame Football, brought to you by TireRack.com, along with former Irish quarterback Evan Sharpley. I'm Darren Pritchett. Well, after the game, Brian Kelly mentioned there were bits and pieces from this game he really liked. What do you think was high on his list?
Well, first off, getting a win was a big thing here in Game 1. But they ran the football well for the vast majority of the game. I think Brian Kelly liked to see Ian Book settle down in the second half, led Notre Dame down on a great drive to really close out the game. The defense made adjustments at halftime, came out and played really well in the second half, and then there weren't any issues on special teams. I know that a lot of new faces. I'm sure Brian Kelly was very happy with that.
Let's go to the highlights from Cardinal Stadium, where they had 58,187, a record for that stadium. Fighting Irish head coach Brian Kelly, 7-2 in season openers in South Bend. Ian Book back as the starting quarterback for the Fighting Irish. First play of the season, Louisville blitzes. Ian Book sees it coming, and he takes off running 36 yards into Louisville territory.
Just like they drew it up there, huh?
That's exactly right. Then Book to Jafar Armstrong. He goes 16 yards, which sets up Jameer Smith, his first career touchdown from 3 yards out, 7-0 Notre Dame.
And that's behind first-year starter Jared Patterson at center. Opens up the hole for Smith. Irish control the line of scrimmage early.
Now Louisville goes to work on offense. Jawan Pass, the Louisville quarterback, picks up 13 yards on a first down, and then he scores from 8 yards out. We had a 7-7 game. Next drive for Louisville, Javian Hawkins breaks free, 44 yards all the way down to the Notre Dame 26-yard line. Then it was Pass, a 7-yard touchdown run off the right side, and Louisville had the lead, 14-7. Notre Dame found its running game on the next possession. Tony Jones Jr. for 15 yards. And then Jones got the carry again, this time off the left side. He breaks a tackle, 35-yard run down to the Louisville 11-yard line. On second down and goal, they go to Jones again, and he scores from 11 yards out. The game was tied at 14.
Great job up front here against the undersized Louisville front seven. Patterson, Kramer, Hainsey doing an awesome job, open up a hole for Tony Jones.
Well, after giving up 2 touchdowns early, the Irish defense held Louisville to 40 yards over the next 18 plays. A pass breakup by freshman safety Kyle Hamilton. That was followed up by Tariq Bracy knocking down a pass, and the defense held. Then some craziness. Pass scrambling to his left, wrapped up by Julian Okora. Alohi Gilman comes in and not only knocks the ball free, but recovers the fumble.
Textbook here by Okora, and Gilman going in to punch it out. Great play by this Irish defense.
So the Irish in scoring range. The next play, Book steps up of the pocket. He runs into Brock Wright. The ball comes free, and Louisville recovers the fumble.
Not ideal.
Late in the first half, Louisville maybe they'll just try to run out the clock. Well, they snap the ball low to pass. The ball is free, and Jake Lamb recovered the ball for Notre Dame at the 20-yard line.
Just a brutal set of plays here, almost looking like the bad news bears out there.
So another opportunity for the Irish offense to score late in the first half. Ian Book fakes the handoff, runs right, and picks up the first down as he gets inside the Louisville 10-yard line. Then Book fakes the screen pass, runs left, and he goes into the end zone for an 11-yard touchdown.
Yeah, following this pump fake, his option 2 is to run. Great job realizing the backside is sealed, and Book kind of gets his mojo back here as we head into halftime.
Notre Dame had the lead, 21-14. Tony Jones Jr. in the first half, 9 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Let's take a look at the first half stats, as Notre Dame did a very effective job running the football.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to have happen. I don't think this was necessarily the first half that Notre Dame drew up or designed when they were going in this game. A lot of credit to Louisville. I think they played very well. Obviously a raucous crowd to start as well. So for Notre Dame to go into halftime, I think with some of that momentum was important. Go back to the drawing board, make some adjustments, and then come out strong.
Halftime score, Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. We'll check out third quarter highlights next on Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com.
Inside Notre Dame Football is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Vivid Seats, Canon, and SiriusXM.
And welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com, along with former Irish quarterback Evan Sharpley. I'm Darren Pritchett. Well, at halftime, Notre Dame had a 21-14 lead over Louisville. Could they pull away in the second half? Let's check out the second half highlights from Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Early on, the Notre Dame defense set a good tone as Ade Ogundeji was able to knock the ball free from pass. Dalen Hayes recovered the fumble. That was a big turnaround as Louisville was in scoring range.
You know, Darren, this is something that Clark Lee's defense works on in practice quite a bit, trying to punch the football out. I know they have different parts of practice and sessions designed just for this. Obviously, it was a big part of the game.
Louisville on their next possession. It was Khalid Kareem with a 2-yard tackle for loss as he brought down Hawkins. And then the outstanding freshman Kyle Hamilton, another pass breakup over the middle. Notre Dame still up 21-14 in the third quarter. Book crossing route to Chase Claypool. He goes 31 yards. That was his 4th catch of the evening. And he carried tacklers all the way down to the Louisville 26-yard line. From there, the freshman Tommy Tremble scores his first career touchdown on a great throw from Ian Book.
Great play design here, play action, 2 high safeties, so the middle of the field is open. You have 4 verticals. The linebacker's the only guy that can make a play on Tremble, and Book makes him pay.
The Irish up 28-14, and then Drew White and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah bring down Atwell for a loss of 6 yards. We move to the fourth quarter. The Irish up by 14. Louisville picks up 3 points on the 42-yard field goal. It was 28-17. Ian Book goes back to throw and finds Tremble once again to the Louisville 41, a gain of 10. And then it's Lawrence Keys with a great catch over the middle. He picks up a Notre Dame first down, back-to-back third down conversions. Then on first down and 10, Ian Book rolled to his left. He threw it to the far side to Chase Claypool. He brings it all the way back across the field. And Claypool would get inside the Louisville 5-yard line, a gain of 34. On second and goal, Smith his second touchdown of the night, and the Irish had a 35-17 advantage.
This really was the signature drive of the game on offense for Notre Dame, Darren. A lot of 3 third down pickups. Those money downs were very clutch. Ian Book, some decisive throws, made throws and decisions with conviction. Great job by the Irish offense.
The Irish pass rush closed out the game as the Fighting Irish got a sack from Kurt Hinish. There is Dalen Hayes wrapping up pass for a big loss. And on fourth down and 12 late in the ball game, Julian Okwara breaks free into the backfield, brings down the quarterback, also intentional grounding. Final score from Cardinal Stadium, Notre Dame 35 and Louisville 17. A good start to the season for the 9th-ranked Fighting Irish. Final game stats, Notre Dame ended up with 423 yards of total offense. Louisville, 383. One thing about the game, Louisville started off 3 of 3 on third downs, but Notre Dame did a much better job as the game went on.
Yeah, I think if you look offensively, that 193 on the passing yards, I think most fans probably expected Ian Book to come out and maybe throw out a few more numbers than he did. Ultimately was pretty efficient on offense, really probably just scratching the surface of what he can do with this offense. And then, as you pointed out on the defensive side, this defense, I think, went in at halftime. We're really starting late in the second quarter and starting to kind of pin down the hatch a little bit and say, we got to make some plays on these third downs. They were able to get off the field and ultimately give the offense the football more often.
Fighting Irish 1-0 after beating Louisville 35-17. Stick around. More Inside Notre Dame Football presented by TireRack.com is coming up.
Jack Nolan with Irish head coach Brian Kelly in the media room here in Cardinal Stadium after your season opening victory over Louisville. You got off to a terrific start, and that turned out to be very critical in this game.
Yeah, I thought we got into good rhythm, ran the football, and Again, I think what we were hoping to do is get off to that quick start. We didn't quite mimic that on defense, which was disappointing. But again, we were able to overcome a little adversity and get the lead back before we went to halftime.
We saw in the first drive what we've seen from Jafar Armstrong in camp throughout the year, both a running threat and a pass-catching threat, but then he goes down.
Yeah.
Somebody has to step up. You wanted it to be Tony Jones, and he did do it, going for over 100 yards.
Yeah, I was pleased with Tony. It's good to see, he's a veteran, and, he gave us everything he had. He got winded a little bit there in the third quarter, but, gave us a big jolt coming in there and running hard and being physical. But, Smith goes in there, does a really good job. Kyron Williams played. Sebo Flemister played. We had them all, on deck there, giving us a great look all day.
Did you expect Tommy Tremble to step up as much as he did in this game?
Well, he was going to be featured. We knew that he was a really good physical asset that we could count on, but we had to go to him on some really key downs, and he came up big for us. Obviously the big touchdown catch, but I really thought the third down option route that he ran, sat down in between two defenders and made the big third down catch for us that ultimately leads into a score that kind of put the game away. I thought was a really big catch for us. But again, we thought that he had elite talent. It was just a matter of getting that opportunity.
Sometimes when you expect someone to play very well, and they do, you don't make a big deal out of it. But we probably should make a big deal out of the game that Chase Claypool had.
Yeah, I thought he was the best player on the field. I mean, his talent level rose to a different, for me, he looked like a different player. Anytime he touched the ball, he was a threat to go the distance. And his physicality, his size, his catching radius, it's going to be fun to watch him continue to grow throughout the season. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
There are a lot of guys battling for playing time at linebacker. Drew White earned the starting slot, and he proved why. He was all around, made big plays, always seemed to be in the gap.
Yeah, I thought Drew did a nice job, no doubt. We're going to have to get, more play from, everybody else. I think Drew did some good things. I think we'll watch the film and find out, what's that rotation going to look like. We've got to get more play from everybody. They ran the ball with too much effectiveness today, and I know that, with this bye week, it gives us a great chance to do some teaching and really, settle on what our rotation is going to be.
You have been trying to tamp down the Hamilton for Heisman talk, but you knew he was going to play a lot in this game, and he showed why. He made plays all over the field.
He did. He had the one missed tackle where he was a little bit out of control, so he is human. But his ability to defend in the back end of our defense is extraordinary. So to have him back there is just another weapon for us. Like I said, I think the highlights from this game, it's an opener, and we took care of business. But our young players played really well, and our veterans can play better. That's a pretty good thing.
Is it a little mini training camp before you start getting ready for New Mexico?
It is. We were just talking about it. We're not done hitting each other. We're going to tackle a little bit more. We're going to pressure the quarterback a little bit more training camp before we get ready for New Mexico.
Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. Well, Ian Book, starting quarterback for the Fighting Irish in 2019. He took over in Game 4 last year and helped the Irish get to the college football playoff. He got the start tonight. The offense got off to a slow start, but you would have to say he improved as the night went on, ended up 14 of 23 for 193 yards.
Listen, Darren, he set the bar really high last year.
True.
And I think coming into this season, that bar was set. So, for him, the next step now is, watching the film on this game. There's a lot to still like. Didn't make a lot of critical errors. I'd like to see him stay in the pocket a little bit longer. He's got a great receiving crew, but, a couple of throws that I really liked from him. The too high safety look to Tommy Tremble, put a nice ball there. This Irish offense started to work some of these under crossing routes. And then also, his ability to make some plays with his feet too. If you look at this pump fake, and then ultimately, I think read 2 on this was a backside run. The offensive line did a nice job of hedging. He realizes that it's sealed on the backside. He has enough athleticism and speed to take it to the house. So they're going to continue to grow. This offense is going to continue to grow with Ian Book.
It's time to check out the Vivid Seats Play of the Week.
Ian Book from the shotgun. Drops straight back over the middle. Has Tommy Tremble at the 2. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Tommy Tremble running a fantastic route, looking as though he's going to cross cornerback C.J. Avery in front of him, and then straightens up, runs down that seam. You were calling for the tight ends to get involved. There you go, Paul.
How about Tommy Tremble's first reception at Notre Dame goes for a touchdown?
It's time for our TireRack.com question of the week. This week's question comes from Bob Coloni of Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Who is the defensive player that will step up this season that fans might not know about yet?
Well, that's a kind of a loaded question. Obviously, we've talked about Kyle Hamilton. I think him, being one of them. Jeremiah Owusu, I think, is another one. Shane Simon, I think, is going to do a lot of good things. If I was to throw one out there that maybe nobody knows about, maybe Isaiah Foskey. Before all is said and done, he traveled with us. Our intention is to maybe get him in a game and see what he can do, but he's really impressed us as another defensive lineman. So there's a few names to kind of throw in your hat and see what happens.
This is Inside Notre Dame Football following Notre Dame's 35-17 victory over Louisville down in Kentucky, along with former Irish quarterback Evan Sharpley. I'm Darren Pritchett. Well, you take a look at Alohi Gilman, one of the leaders of this football team. Starting safety for the Irish, had 10 tackles tonight. I think one of the things we focused on, though, coming into the game was the linebacking core, and we saw a lot of bodies on the field tonight.
Yeah, and I think Clark Lee wanted to see a lot of bodies. He rotated a lot of guys through, really, I think, trying to find maybe a best fit, whether it's chemistry, communication. We know within Clark Lee's defense here, this 4-2-5, that the buck position and the Mike position are very crucial elements, especially at that second level on production. There's a lot of excitement on this Irish defense from the defensive line, from the secondary. I think question mark going in was who were guys that were going to step up. So there were some growing pains. I think that there were some glimpses of some production at that second level. But ultimately now you've got a week off moving forward. They're going to have to make some adjustments, and some guys are really going to have to step up.
And at the Mike linebacker spot, it seemed like Drew White got a lot better as the game went on, started to see formation, see the plays coming, and ended up being a good factor in this game. He ended up with 5 tackles, and the ball game was credited with a sack and had 2 tackles for loss.
Listen, Darren, anytime you lose some guys to graduation that are going on to the next level, leadership there, for a lot of these guys, it was their first time really seeing some live action at the collegiate level. So it was nice to see them settle in. I'm sure guys like Alohi Gilman and other leaders on this team probably looked at these guys on the sideline and said, hey, you've been playing football your whole life. Let's go out there and let's execute.
Then there's the running game. Jafar Armstrong got a little banged up in the first half, so Tony Jones Jr., a veteran player, had a big opportunity to showcase his skills in this game, and he had a really good night. 15 carries for 110 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that. We knew we were going to see a few bodies at the running back position, but for Tony Jones to step up, he's a guy, he's got an interesting skill set. You wouldn't maybe say he's really good at one thing, kind of a jack of all trades. He can catch the football. You're going to see him run north and south. When he's carrying the football. He's also very good in protection too. So kudos to this offensive line. Again, there's some new guys playing there. Jarrett Patterson first started center. And then for Tony Jones to come out here and make some of the plays that he made, I think was really good to see in lieu of Jafar Armstrong getting hurt. They're going to need all 3 of these guys to perform at a high level for the running back position, and it may be a running back by committee. It may be on a week-to-week basis who gets hot, but we know that between those 3 guys, they've got a solid group of running backs.
Irish 42 carries, 230 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they averaged 5.5 yards per carry. The Irish victorious over Louisville 35-17. More still to come on Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. Well, Evan, the Irish have beaten Louisville. Now you look ahead to New Mexico. What do you think they focus on over the next week or so?
Well, it's great to be able to have a win and look at some film. I think when Ian Book turns on this, he's going to want to stay in the pocket, go through his progressions, really trust those. I think he ejected out a couple of times too early, so trusting that and getting through the full scope of his read, I think, will be important. And then also for this offensive line, and really the team in general, being able to pick up 3 yards maybe on a 3rd and 3. I think that's going to be the step moving forward as this season progresses. Is are they able to do that? Defensively, who are the names going to be at linebacker? Some guys are going to have to step up, but for them, it's going to be a lot of rinse and repeat. Be timely with turnovers and get off the field on 3rd downs.
Final score, Notre Dame 35, Louisville 17 for former Irish quarterback Evan Sharpley. I'm Darren Pritchett. Thank you for joining us for Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com.
Inside Notre Dame Football is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Vivid Seats, Canon, and SiriusXM.